Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we are going to be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer. So, let's get going. To whom the white-armed goddess thus replies, "Enough thou know'st the tyrant of the skies, severely bent his purpose to fulfill, unmoved his mind and unrestrained his will. Go thou the feasts of heaven, attend thy call, bid the crowned nectar circle round the hall. But Jove shall thunder through the ethereal dome, such stern decrees, such threatened woes to come, as soon shall freeze mankind with dire surprise, and damp the eternal banquets of the skies." The goddess said, and sullen took her place. Black horror saddened each celestial face. To see the gathering grudge in every breast, smiles on her lips a spleenful joy expressed, while on her wrinkled front and eyebrow bent sat steadfast care and lowering discontent. Thus she proceeds, "Attend ye powers above, but know 'tis madness to contest with Jove. Supreme he sits, and sees in pride of sway your vassal godheads grudgingly obey. Fierce in the majesty of power controls, shakes all the thrones of heaven, and bends the poles. Submiss immortals all he wills obey, and thou, great Mars, begin and show the way. Behold Ascalaphus, behold him die, but dare not murmur, dare not vent a sigh. They own loved boasted offspring lies o'erthrown, if that loved boasted offspring be thy own. Stern Mars, with anguish for his slaughtered son, smote his rebelling breast, and fierce begun. Thus then, immortals, thus shall Mars obey. Forgive me, gods, and yield my vengeance way. Descending first to yon forbidden plain, the god of battles dares avenge the slain. Dares, though the thunder bursting o'er my head should hurl me blazing on those heaps of dead. With that he gives command to fear and flight, to join his rapid coursers for the fight. Then grim in arms with hasty vengeance flies, arms that reflect a radiance through the skies. And now had Jove, by bold rebellion driven, just discharged his wrath on half the host of heaven. But Pallas, springing through the bright abode, starts from her azure throne to calm the god. Struck for the immortal race with timely fear, from frantic Mars she snatched the shield and spear. Then the huge helmet lifting from his head, thus to the impetuous homicide she said, "By what wild passion furious art thou tossed? Striv'st thou with Jove, thou art already lost. Shall not the thunderer's dread command restrain, and was imperial Juno heard in vain? Back to the skies wouldst thou with shame be driven, and in thy guilt involve the host of heaven. Ilion and Greece no more should Jove engage, the skies would yield an ampler scene of rage. Guilty and guiltless find an equal fate, and one vast ruin whelm the Olympian state. Cease then thy offspring's death unjust to call. Heroes as great have died and yet shall fall. Why should heaven's law with foolish man comply, exempted from the race, ordained to die? This menace fixed the warrior to his throne. Sullen he sat and curbed the rising groan. Then Juno called, Jove's orders to obey, the winged Iris and the god of day. "Go wait the thunderer's will," Saturnia cried, "on yon tall summit of the fountful Ide. There in the Father's awful presence stand, receive and execute his dread command. She said and sat, the god that gilds the day, and various iris winged their airy way. Swift as the wind to Ida's hills they came, fair nurse of fountains and of savage game. There sat the Eternal, he whose nod controls the trembling world and shakes the steady poles. Veiled in a mist of fragrance him they found, with clouds of gold and purple circled round. Well pleased the Thunderer saw their earnest care, and prompt obedience to the Queen of Air. Then, while a smile serenes his awful brow, commands the goddess of the showery bough, Iris, descend, and what we here ordain, report to yon mad tyrant of the main. Bid him from fight to his own deeps repair, or breathe from slaughter in the fields of air. If he refuse, then let him timely weigh our elder birthright and superior sway. How shall his rashness stand the dire alarms, if heaven's omnipotence descend in arms? Strives he with me by whom his power was given, and is there equal to the Lord of heaven? The Almighty spoke, the goddess winged her flight to sacred Ilion from the Idaean height. Swift as the rattling hail or fleecy snows drive through the skies when Boreas fiercely blows, so from the clouds descending Iris falls, and to blue Neptune thus the goddess calls. Attend the mandate of the Sire above, in me behold the messenger of Jove. He bids thee from forbidden wars repair, to thine own depths or to the fields of air. This if refused he bids thee timely weigh his elder birthright and superior sway. How shall thy rashness stand the dire alarms, if heaven's omnipotence descend in arms? Strivest thou with him by whom all power is given, and art thou equal to the Lord of heaven? What means the haughty sovereign of the skies? The king of ocean thus incensed replies. Rule as he will his portioned realms on high, no vassal god nor of his train am I. 3 brother deities from Saturn came, an ancient Rhea, earth's immortal dame. Assigned by lot our triple rule we know, infernal Pluto sways the shades below. O'er the wide clouds and o'er the starry plain, ethereal Jove extends his high domain. My court beneath the hoary waves I keep, and hush the roarings of the sacred deep. Olympus and this earth in common lie, what claim has here the tyrant of the sky? Far in the distant clouds let him control, and o'er the younger brothers of the pole. There to his children his commands be given, the trembling servile second race of heaven. And must I then, said she, O sire of floods, bear this fierce answer to the king of gods? Correct it yet, and change thy rash intent. A noble mind disdains not to repent. 2 elder brothers guardian fiends are given, to scourge the wretch insulting them and heaven. Great is the profit, thus the god rejoined, when ministers are blessed with prudent mind. Warned by thy words, to powerful Jove I yield, and quit, though angry, the contented field. Not but his threats with justice I declaim, the same our honours and our birth the same. If yet forgetful of his promise given to Hermes' palace and the Queen of Heaven, to favour Ilion that perfidious place, he breaks his faith with half the ethereal race. Give him to know, unless the Grecian train lay yon proud structures level with the plain. Howe'er the offence by other gods be past, the wrath of Neptune shall forever last. Thus speaking, furious from the field he strode, and plunged into the bosom of the flood. The Lord of Thunders from his lofty height beheld, and thus bespoke the source of light. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. So I will say thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.